Hello everyone. This video is going to be very different from most of my videos because I have not prepared it in any way and I don't know in what direction it's gonna develop, so bear with me. I hope it's gonna be interesting. So what I did is I bought this Amiga 2000. It's very dirty, much dirtier than you see. I'll show you on a close-up later. And I just received this package. I came back from work, it was waiting for me. I don't know what's inside because the seller didn't specify the specs of this Amiga. He or she didn't even open the case, so we don't know what's inside. But I bought it because some of the elements on the outside made me curious. So there are a few things. First of all, maybe what made me curious was the back of it. So, okay, there are several things. First of all, it's so dirty that I can already feel my hands being stained. Like you see, there's a switch here that was definitely used a lot because there's like a spot that is clean around it. Someone was constantly touching it with their finger. But the rest of it is covered with some kind of I don't know, layer of gunk and ugly stuff. I don't like it, so it's gonna be cleaned later. But I'm really curious what's inside. The photos on the eBay auction didn't show that, but I could see in the auction already that it has a flicker fixer here with a VGA output. So that's the first thing that made me curious. It means that it's not bare bones Amiga 2000. It's equipped with a few things. I'm not sure what the potentiometer here, what it's for. I'm not sure what model of flicker fixer it is. Again, all you see now is my guesses. We'll open it later together and see if my guesses were correct. Then very curious thing. So there's a like an element built in here, a face of some kind of card which has a switch. I'm assuming this switch is for switching kickstart versions, but I don't know. But normally that switch, just first of all, it goes usually on the front, and second, there is also a 6.4 or 6.3, I think, audio jack here. What it's for, I have no idea. Is this an input or an output, or is this maybe for capturing and digitalizing sound? That's my guess. But then what's the switch for? Are these two independent, or are these for the same card? We'll see. There's a DBA25 connector here, which could be for input-output, like a parallel connector, I'm not sure, or a SCSI disk connector. So there's some kind of card in here. And the thing that I was really most puzzled by, and I had no way of finding out what it was, and I still don't know, is this display here. There's a 7-segment digital display, four digits. It looks like this little window was cut out in the original panel here for the LEDs, but what for? What does it display? Does it, if there's a switch there, does it switch between kickstarts and show the kickstart version here? That's my guess, because what else? There's no CPU frequency switch as it would be in old PCs, where you would have the turbo button and it would show different frequencies. So that shouldn't be for CPU frequency. I haven't seen that in any Amiga. So that's what puzzles me most. I'm really curious what we find out after we open this. Again, very dirty. It feels like sticky. Then there's the CD-ROM drive here, but it has a little handle. I don't know what that handle is for. I've never seen a CD-ROM drive with a handle. Maybe it's one of those caddy CD-ROMs. we'll see. There are two drives. One is aftermarket. One is the original one. There's a space here, doesn't look so good. So what I'm hoping to do is, first of all, open and see how many of my guesses were right or wrong, and what else we find inside. That's the first thing. Second, we'll try and power this machine on and see if it's working. But first, I need to test the outputs, output voltages on the PSU. We'll do that, and ultimately, we'll try and clean this up and maybe restore the machine. That's my objective with this video. Let's see where this takes us. Okay, we're ready to open this Amiga, but there's one more thing that I wanted to show in close-up. You see near the keyboard connector there's a lot of green rust, and it looks like the battery inside this Amiga has already blown up, which means we are looking at repair, small or large, depending on the damage that is done. The reason I'm saying that is that the keyboard connector is very close to where the battery is placed in A2000, so I'm suspecting there's a damage there done already. So okay, let's open it up. I can see that there's only one screw on one side and one on the other. Someone lost some of the screws. Apparently it had been opened before. I'm very, very curious at this point what we're gonna see inside. Right, Philip? Okay. Let's pull this delicately out. All right. What is this? Spiders. Okay, so there are spiders in this Amiga. There are many spiders in this Amiga, so that's the first thing that we notice. It's very, very dirty. This needs a, yeah, you noticed, I know. Like how many of them? You can count actually. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me actually show everyone. Is this recording? Yeah. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So much spiders. 6. Spiders everywhere, cobwebs everywhere. Okay, so the first we noticed is, what did you see? There might be some yeah, some maybe there inside the PSU. So that's the first thing we notice, full of spiders, but they are all dead, they are all dry, so not a big deal. We're gonna clean them up. Now, this is where it's getting interesting. So there's a processor card, CPU card here. What is this really? Is that 030? I think so. I'm not sure, can't see from here. What card is that? Oh, it's an A260. So I think it's an 020 card. Very nice. So this has been upgraded with an accelerator. That's the first thing we noticed. The second thing we noticed, there's a huge
I think I see another spider here.
Another spider here. Okay. I think this is a SCSI card, SCSI controller that has 2 discs in it, mounted in a very crude way, but that's fine. So we have 2 SCSI discs on one ribbon cable, and the ribbon cable goes all the way here to this CD drive. So it's a SCSI CD drive. And my son discovered just before we started recording this this video that this little handle here is for opening the tray like that. So this is a caddy fed CD-ROM. Unfortunately, the caddy is not inside, so we're gonna need to purchase the caddy to make it complete. So we have two floppy drives. We have a CD-ROM drive fed by the SCSI cable here. Now that's not all. So I mentioned a flicker fixer, which we saw from the outside. Here it is. It's called Multivision 2000. Multivision 2000, and why does it have a pot here? I don't know, but it also has two audio sockets here, 3.5 sockets. So I think that's just an amplifier for the audio. I don't know, but I know that the video socket here in the Amiga 2000 had audio signals, which could have been used by the cards connected here. So it could be that. Now, the first thing that we found interesting, where does this socket connect to? So it goes here and here and here. Oh, it connects to the CD-ROM drive. All right, so this socket here was meant for plugging in either headphones or maybe an amplifier directly to the CD-ROM drive. Yeah, the headphones.
Here.
Yeah, the headphones socket is also there. That's correct. And then the switch. So the switch would be also for the CD-ROM drive. I don't think so, because it goes somewhere to the bottom of the computer, which means it's probably connected to CD-ROM, to the Kickstart switcher. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, if we look closely, there is a Kickstart or ROM relocator there. So that's probably the switch here is probably for switching the ROMs. Okay, so we now know a little bit more about this computer. Again, there's the battery there, which I'm very worried that is blown up. We're gonna take a look at that later. But now the most interesting thing that we were curious about, no, this capacitor is still okay, it's just bent. And this was what was really interesting when we were looking from the outside. So the 7-segment display here with 4 digits is connected to this, or is actually a part of this thing. What is it? It doesn't. Oh, it does say here. It's a 2000 track display. So does it mean that it displays CD tracks, like what's on the CD if you play an audio CD? Let's see, where is it connected to? This is the first time I see something like this. It says 1991 here. But where is this connected to? I have no clue. It goes... So there's the power at the top, at the bottom. The drive that it goes all the way to the SCSI controller. That's interesting. So what this track display, I have no idea. Would that be hard disk tracks, or would actually be connected to these CD tracks? Well, we'll see when we switch it on. I have no idea what this is. This is very interesting, and it seems like it's not a homebrew stuff. It seems like a production aftermarket part. I'm not sure. We'll see. Now there's one more card here which looks like a memory card, but again it's a bit weird. Look at these memories, how they are socketed. They are actually not socketed at all. I think they are soldered onto this board. What board is that? Three state. I've heard that name. Okay, I don't know much. All right, I think the next step.
Is to turn it on.
Yeah, we'll turn it on. You're right, but before we turn it on, I want to check if the voltages on the PSU are correct, so that we avoid explosions and avoid breaking this computer even more, because I'm assuming it's broken. But let's
My dad did when
let's
I
see.
explode the IBM.
Yeah, we did explode an IBM 5155, which you can see in another video. I want to avoid this now, so we're gonna do proper testing of the PSU first. Let's do that now. All right, we're ready to measure the voltages. I had to take out the CPU card. Indeed, it's an 020 processor. It looks like it has the FPU and MMU, but we'll take a look at that later.
I think the Amiga is going to explode.
It's not gonna explode. Let's see.
Why? How it is
This
not?
is now disconnected from the motherboard, but still connected to the disks. Let's
Why
see.
it is not going to explode?
That's the first start. Okay, there are sounds of the disks and of the.
Why is it not
Fan.
connected to the monitor?
Let's measure the voltages.
Why didn't you connect it to the monitor?
Not yet, too early. We have 5 volts here, so that's correct. We have
Oh. I like this Amiga. Explosions. Oh, what is that? What is that? Ah! What the hell is happening?
Yes.
Oh,
So here is what happened. While testing the voltage level of this PSU, it blew up. It went with white smoke, and I had to take a break. So now it's over a week after that happened. I ordered a new PSU. This is actually an aftermarket PSU. It has the case of the original A2000 PSU, but inside there's a regular ATX power supply. Someone on Amiga made it. It's easy to make one, but I was too impatient. Also, I'm not gonna get rid of this one. I'll try and repair it one day, but that's a bigger repair. So basically what happened is the RIFA capacitor went, and I think also the high voltage transformer is damaged. So this is gonna take a lot of time to properly fix. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna connect the motherboard to this new PSU, but I'm not gonna do it the same way as we did before. Before I power it on, I'm gonna disassemble this whole thing, remove all the cards, remove all the drives, see what condition the motherboard is in, remove the battery, and only then power it on, and then gradually start connecting the peripherals, because I'm still not sure what caused the explosion. 99% it was just the old PSU RIFA capacitor that caused it, but I can't be sure. The whole house smelled for a couple of days, and the family was mad at me, so I don't want to repeat this thing this time. So let's disassemble this computer, and let's start with just the bare motherboard. Okay, so I have now washed the motherboard, cleaned it up just a little, just the surface, because it really looked terrible, but it requires deeper cleaning. So basically I've noticed that one of the pins from the CPU socket was loose and it actually fell off due to the corrosion, and the keyboard socket is also corroded, this will require scrubbing off the solder mask and putting a new one on. At least I hope that there are no connections that we need to repair, but for now I really can't wait to turn it on. So I put the CPU back in. I hope all the connections are sound there, and I put the diagram into the kickstart socket. Let's try and switch it on. Okay, the sync signal is there, apparently, but nothing else seems to be showing. At least the diagram is not showing any sign of life. But actually I'm not sure if my diagram is really good or not. Let's try with a different one. Okay, I have now replaced the diagram with a regular kickstart. Let's try again. Sync signal is there, and then nothing. So I think the CPU is failing because of that corroded socket. Let's actually try with that CPU expansion board. We got the sync signal and then nothing. Oh no, there it is. There it is. So kickstart ROM is showing and it's asking for a floppy disk, so it's working. So that's what I suspected. It wouldn't start with the factory CPU probably because the socket is corroded underneath, or maybe because that one pin is not correctly seated. But it's starting with the expansion board, so that's great news. Let's continue. Let's connect this huge and very heavy SCSI card and see if that lets us actually boot into something usable. Is there an operating system there? What have we got there? I don't know. We'll see. For now, I just want to see if this thing is starting at all. I'm trying to read something. There it is. Okay, so looks like it looks like something is starting. Let's see where it gets us. It's asking for libs icon library. Why? I don't know. Let's try the double mouse button trick at the beginning and to get us to the boot screen. Nothing. Can't get to the early boot menu apparently. Oh no, there it is. Okay, good. Expansion board diagnostics. Okay, we see 4 different cards. So I can see that the memory card is 4 megs. The SCSI card has 2 megs, so that's 6 total. Plus I think the CPU card has 2 megs on it. So that's the total of 8 megs of memory that we have. That's decent for an Amiga of those times. Okay, so it did start. Oh look, even the keyboard is working. That's great. Do we get any? Yes, we can get a lot of information here. So There are one drive 49 megs, another one 99 megs, and another one 99 megs. So there's one 200 meg disk, I think, plus one 50 meg disk. So that's what we have here. Let's try and open the DH01. There's a lot of stuff there. Let's see the DH1. Looks like someone had a disk full of fonts. DH2. Dune, Formula, Sierra, Zeppelin. Okay, Civilization looks like games. Hahaha, it started.
Microprose, what does it mean?
It's a name of a game company. Let's see. UFO, enemy unknown. Oh, okay, I know what it is. But I don't have a joystick. I think I'm not gonna play it now. Okay. It seems to be working, except for the CPU. So I was able to even launch something from the hard drives. They seem to be working. I don't know why it's not finding fonts. Maybe it's because it was looking for a different things in the ROM. So I have 3.2.2 ROM here, so it was looking for fonts library and for workbench library. I think that's the OS and Kickstart incompatibility we're looking at here now, but that's fine. I think we're pretty good. The system seems to be roughly working. What we were unable to test is the all the chips and all the chip memory, if it's correct, but it doesn't seem that there are many issues here, like it's running programs and whatnot. We haven't tested sound at all. I haven't connected anything. Much more work to be done here, but the outlook is definitely positive. Even if I'm unable to make the original CPU work, it's still fine because it has the expansion board. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the cleanup of the CPU socket anyway, just for my peace of mind, because I don't like to know that there's corrosion below it. And also I'm gonna remove some of the solder mask here and do a little bit deeper cleaning, but no rush with that. What I'm gonna do now is I think I'll try and remove this card with these discs and install a proper modern 3.2.2 system on it from a bit faster disk, a CF card, and then we can do some more testing of this motherboard, including sound and including the periphery chips and whatnot. Okay, it's looking nice. To be continued. Okay, I had one more idea. I removed the 3.2.2 Kickstart and installed the original Kickstart that was here. Actually, two Kickstarts, because as I mentioned, they are on a ROM relocator. It's called HK Computer KickROM 2. And let's try and boot the machine. But the first thing that I wanted to also show you is the sound of the hard drives, because they are super loud, and I'm pretty sure that maybe 3, 4, 5 more system boots and they'll start failing or fail completely right away. These are SCSI disks, 30-something-year-old SCSI disks. They fail when you try and use them after several decades. That's just what they do. I've had those SCSI disks fail on me multiple times when I was trying to restore computers that were sitting somewhere in an attic or somewhere. These disks are at their end of life now. So it may be the last time actually this one will even boot the system, but in any case I wanted to record the sound of it. Absolutely something is already wrong with that drive. Those metallic hissing sounds at the beginning really didn't sound well. Let's see if it boots at all. There's a LED somewhere under one of these hard drives. Okay, we got something. So we have more than we were able to get when trying to boot from 3.2.2, but still it's stuck somewhere while booting. I wonder why that is. Is that searching for the CD-ROM drive? Possibly. We would need to look into the startup sequence, which we can do, but is it worth it? Not sure. This whole project has become a mess, and it's already going in a completely different direction than I imagined, but that's fine. That's what Amigas are for, to have fun. So I gave up on the idea of trying to access the drives as they were in this system, despite trying the original ROMs and the ROM relocator. I couldn't get past the lockup that was happening somewhere during the boot up process. We could have tried and fixed it. I don't care at this point because I'm going to access those disks anyway. So what I'm going to do is first install a modern 3.2.2 system on it, then add these disks and see what's inside, in case there's something interesting there. So I'm giving up on this ROM relocator, again made by HK Computer. It's called KickROM 2. Very nice, but we don't need it. I've also removed the Multivision 2000 flicker fixer. It's an interesting card, but it deserves a separate video. We're definitely gonna talk about flicker fixers in general. I have quite a few interesting cards, and I want to talk about them another time. So let's get rid of this now because there's not enough space on this desk anymore. So what I did is I inserted a Buddha +1 card into one of these Oro 2 slots. Buddha has been the default disk controller for me for any Amigas that I work on for years. It's an amazing piece of hardware by individual computers, and Buddha +1 is the latest edition. It differs from the earlier ones by adding a CF card slot, plus I think memory, plus it's faster, plus there's some elaborate LED handling there. I didn't go into that yet. I think what it can do is not only output LED signal, but also collect the input LED signals from other drives and then output it through one LED. I'm not fully sure, I need to read about it, but this is the latest edition, and again, I've had amazing experience with these controllers. So what I'm gonna do is, it has a 3.1 install disk here, with factory licensed by individual computers. I'm gonna take a 32 gig card, insert it here, and just install the 3.1 system from the 3.1 install media. Jens Schoenfeld is selling this with 3.1 license. It doesn't matter, I'm gonna upgrade to 3.2 later. I have the licensed media for that as well. So I think it's all in place. Let's boot it with 2 mouse buttons pressed so that we get to the boot screen. We want to boot from the boot install media, not from anything else. Boot options, boot install, use, boot. Alright, that should boot us into the installer created by individual computers. And by the way, I connected the original Amiga 2000 LED to the Buddha Plus One now, and it's working. It lights up whenever the disk is accessed, but again, there's some more elaborate scheme that you can do here with Buddha Plus One with LEDs. I'm gonna get to that later. Install in English. And I have my CF card here, 32 gigs, installed there. It's recommended to erase and reboot. Yes, please. Yes, I'm sure. I know that all the data will be lost. Starting install Buddha, install in English. Scanning controller for drives. That's fine. And we're installing 3.1. Again, I will need to upgrade to 3.2 later, which is not a problem. All data will be lost, we know that already. And it's installing. I think the installer is capable of handling disks larger than 4 gigs, so it will do all the work automatically for us. It should partition the 32 gig into several partitions and basically make it ready for our enjoyment. Let's see how that works. There's a regular IDE socket here as well, and we could connect another hard drive or a CD-ROM drive there, which we may do ultimately. But in this Amiga, I would really love to use the original SCSI CD-ROM drive, but that depends on how successful I am doing this. The Buddha controller also has some memory inside it. I think one meg, but I'm not sure. We can check that later. So we have some memory on the CPU card, some memory on the disk controller, and some memory on this dedicated memory card. 3-state again. This is a very weird card, but it's apparently working. It's nice and warm. CPU is also warm. There's the O2O CPU, and there's the FPU here, and the NMU. Now this is the install media. We can now start the computer. It should boot into that 32 gig card. This is a very handy way of installing a system on an Amiga where you don't have a floppy drive, you don't have anything else, because basically it takes you out of this this loop where, hey, I want to install something on my Amiga, but I don't have the media. But in order to have the media, I need to have the operating system working so that I can access that media, etc., etc. But Buddha solves that loop for you, and basically you can install in a very easy way. Okay, so let's take a look at memory. Chip
close to 1 meg, so that's fine. That's maximum that A2000 can support. Fast 5.5 megs and total 6.3 megs. So 5. I think this is 2 and this is 2. That's 4 and this is 1. That's 5. But we'll find out. Show config. Does that work? It works. So we have 020 CPU. That's correct. 881 FPU. That's the FPU. Sorry, not that one. That's the FPU plus the 851 NMU. So it's a fully populated expansion board. I like it. And we have the RAM card. So this has 2 megs, as I mentioned. RAM unidentified 4 megs. So that's 4. So that's total 6. So it seems that the boot card doesn't have any memory in it, or at least it's not showing here. I think we're good. This Amiga seems to work. We haven't tested it fully yet, so let's try and connect it to the internet. The fastest way to connect the Amiga to the internet is by using an ink box, the little hardware add-on that comes with the IMP3 software. The internet is accessible only from within the IMP3 program, but that doesn't matter. You can download anything that you need from the Aminet or from elsewhere and from others. So it's very, very helpful because it's like a no-fuss connection to the most needed Amiga resources. So let me do that now and we continue from there.
Alright, now I have connected Impbox. I set it up, it's very fast, it's working. So basically I'm online, not online as in I don't have a TCP/IP stack ready here, but I am able to download files via IMP3 and also talk to people obviously and listen to mods. So I already see that the sound is working correctly in this Amiga. It's quiet now, but I can make it louder. Let's play something more punchy, maybe, rather than this noise. Maybe something else. IMP3 is an amazing player, but I'm not gonna go into that again. I've recorded the entire video about it, so go there and watch it. Still something else. Well, the sound seems to be working okay. We're gonna do proper testing in a minute. So now that I have access to this, I can actually download sysinfo. Not even download, I can run sysinfo right through or right from IMP3. Let's run it and see. Okay. So we have the CPU 020, we have the FPU 881, we have the NMU 851. Now it's running at, it doesn't say here, I forgot that it doesn't show the CPU speed, doesn't matter, but the supply is showing 50 Hertz, but I don't think it matters because the tick signal is not coming from the PSU. I actually changed the jumper 300 as I showed earlier, so this one is irrelevant, but this seems to be okay. Now let's of course run the speed test. Well, it's 020, so it's faster than normal, but not too fast, but that's fine. I'm actually absolutely fine with this speed for now. The boards, so we have the A2620, that's the CPU card by Commodore. We have the Megamix 2000, oh, that's called Megamix 2000, nice. Okay, so that's the 3-state, so it has 4 megs, this one has 2 megs, and Buddha IDE doesn't have any memory except the 64K. Cool. What we're gonna do now is quit sysinfo and download Amiga test kit and run a few more tests, including connecting a dongle here to do parallel port and serial port testing as well, and that will basically complete our testing. Let's do that now. Great, I have copied Amiga test kit onto the drive now. I have connected the original floppy drive here. It's clicking, so it seems to be working. The back of the computer, all the back connectors are almost fully populated, so I've got the imp box here, I got the floppy emulator, so that would be for DF1 drive, and the serial and parallel dongle for Amiga test kit to do the loop tests. So it's all connected, so let's run Amiga test kit now. And let's test. Okay, memory, keyboard, floppy drive, F1. Let's just assume that the memory is fine. I'm not gonna run the full test now because it takes a lot of time, but we can list and display the regions. It looks fine. I'm gonna run the thorough test later. Keyboard. The fact that the keyboard is working is actually pretty surprising to me. Of course, I'm not testing the actual original Amiga keyboard now. We could do that, but that's not the point. The point is to test the connector here. So I've connected a PS2 keyboard through the Lyra 3 and other individual computers product. But all I'm testing is the connection to the motherboard, which seems fine. And again, I find it surprising. The +1 is probably wrongly emulated here. It's all good. It's all good. Floppy drive, DF0. Is it responding? It's responding. DF1. DF1. Oh, DF2 responded. Is it set correctly? I don't know. But okay, it's responding. So I think it's misconfigured as DF2. Doesn't matter. Seems to be responding again. I'm not gonna do thorough testing of these drives. Controller ports. Mouse is fine. There's no middle button. I'm not gonna test the joystick now. Audio. It's playing. Let's switch the individual channels on and off. All great. And sine waves, just the same. Filter. Filter's working as well. All right. Video. F1. This is terrible, but that's the artifact of running through the OSSC upscaler. Nice. There are artifacts between individual bars, but I'm not sure if that's a Amiga problem or again the upscaler problem. I'm fine with it as it is now, and dots are aligned. Now some chip testing, CIA and chipset. F1. It all looks good to me. One thing that I still don't know much about is this attachment. I mean, I know more because I've read since I first opened this Amiga. I've read about it. So the A2000 track display is a board made by Kupke company in Germany. So they are actually pretty well known. They were pretty well known. They build accelerators, memory expansions and whatnot, but this one is pretty obscure product of theirs, and and it's for displaying floppy drive tracks, so not hard disk tracks, or not CD music audio tracks as I imagined. Neither it is for displaying the Kickstart version. It's for floppy drive tracks as they are being read or written to or from the floppy, but I don't know how to connect it. So there is this header here, longer header, that matches the number of pins here for the floppy drive cable, but there's also the header for I'm assuming supplying power, but not only, because if I look at the individual traces, there are actually more traces from this 10-pin header than for power supply only. So I don't know really how to connect it. If I connect it only through the floppy drive cable, it doesn't display anything, so it needs power supply, but probably something else as well. So I'm gonna figure it out, although I may not be successful, because there's literally maybe 10 pages on the internet about this device, and nobody is actually showing it working. There's one person that converted this to clock, but they didn't show the original connection for it either, so I don't know how to make sense out of it, but I'll try. If I'm successful, I'll share, of course. Anyway, I think we're good. One more thing that I want to try is to connect the original hard drives once again, now with the fully installed 3.2 system, and see what's on them without booting from them. Maybe there's something interesting. I always hope for that. Let's take a look. Great. So we now booted from our newly installed 3.1 system, but we have access to all these three hard drives, actually hard drive partitions there. So let's take a look at what's there. What is Shanghai? Is that a game? Let's try. No, it needs a volume. Can't open it. I have no clue what that is. That's fine. There are games there, doesn't matter. Blue Byte. What's Blue Byte? D. Ziegler or Siedler. We've run something. Oh, that's the Settlers, I think. I didn't remember it was made by company Blue Byte, that's fine. There's music. That's not the Settlers music I remember. Oh, it is actually. Nice, but I want to quit that game now. Well, we can't, because... Can we? Okay. Reboot. Cards, what are cards? I'm assuming another game. Patience card games. Oh, okay, I don't want to go there, but it's nice to see this is working. DH2. Oh, there's a lot here. Simu, is that simulation? That's another game, I suppose. I don't want more games. Not now, at least. Colonization, okay. UFO, we've looked at it. Manager. Software manager. Where is it? Another game. There's music. Oh, that's New York 2 Towers? Never seen this. Very tacky graphics, but I love it. Okay. What do I do there? I think I want to quit. Good. That's fine. I don't want to go there again. Nicht für Kinder. I love that. Oh, so I think it's a disc mag or something. How to smoke pots and how to make bombs. Amazing. Yeah, I should have expected that. Ami Atlas. Never seen that. What's that? Is that an actual atlas? Like maps? Oh, it is. It's a map of Germany. I loved this kind of apps before. So it shows the geographical coordinates and the land. Okay, Frankfurt. Of any point clicked. Love it. Yeah, I was rambling a lot for the past hour or so, even more than I usually do. So I've shortened all that to just a few minutes. But to summarize, I've accessed these original discs. They are fine, they are still working. They will probably soon break, but that's fine. I'm gonna make copies of raw images of these discs just for posterity, but otherwise I'm not gonna use this card or these discs. Second, I'm not gonna use Multivision 2000 for now. I'm gonna use it for another video where I'm gonna talk about clicker fixers, but this one is not going back to this Amiga for now. I'm not gonna use the ROM relocator. I have a new 3.2.2 ROM installed there, so I'm not needing that. I'm not gonna use this track display, even though I'm really curious about it. I think I'm gonna do some research and try and understand the logic, how it displays the tracks, and maybe then record a separate video about it. For now, it's gonna go back to the original case because there's a cutout for that, so I don't want to leave that cutout empty, so it's gonna go back there, but it's gonna be disconnected. So more about this in other videos. So what we're left with is a fully working Amiga 2000 board with 020 card with Buddha Plus 1 and a memory card. I don't think I'm gonna expand it with much more. I'm not gonna use the GVP 040 card, which I was thinking of using, because this 020 is just sufficient for my needs, really. All I need is IM3 playing, maybe a few games, maybe one or two programs, but that's that. And it's all working just fine. So I'm gonna take a break now, but for this Amiga, the next steps are really simple. First, clean up the corroded area here properly, because we did a very superficial job. Second, clean the case, it's dirty. 3, put it back together, maybe add a GoTech, and maybe I'll try and use this original SCSI CD-ROM, for which I would need the SCSI controller back in the board, but I'll see. For now, I'm happy with the progress. Let's do some more cleaning, put it back together in the case. I decided to properly fix the motherboard, which meant replacing the CPU socket. When desoldering, I always start by adding flux and a bit of fresh solder before using the desoldering iron. This helped reduce strain on the vias and minimize the risk of damage. even with all these precautions, one of the traces between the CPU socket and the external CPU slot got damaged. That trace will need to be repaired. But before tackling that, I also removed other components affected by the battery leak. The keyboard connector, and the capacitor C912. I always find it fascinating to watch how alkaline corrosion from a battery leak reacts to acidic vinegar. Battery leaks are almost always more extensive than they first appear. What looks like a small surface leak can hide significant damage beneath the solder mask and components. Worse still, corrosion tends to creep along PCB edges, traces, and even inside components. And what's even more alarming, alkaline fumes seem capable of causing damage even in areas far from the original leak. For the damaged trace, I decided to run the jumper wire through the via to the CPU expansion slot pins on the other side of the board. This was easier and less risky than removing and reattaching the entire CPU slot just to fix this one trace. Finally, I secured all the exposed areas of the motherboard with ultraviolet light cured solder mask and soldered in the new CPU slot. One last check for the continuity of the repaired trace, and I could move on to powering the machine on. This time the board with the factory CPU instead of an expansion board started on the first try. Cleaning of the case and the drives was a different kind of fun. I bet all of you know just how much dirt needs to be removed from a machine that hasn't been open for decades.
All right, this project has taken much more time than I expected. I lost my hair, I lost a few weekends, but it was worth it. It was worth it because I learned a lot about this poor old Amiga, and we've restored it to life. So another Amiga saved.
there are things that we still need to do. The track display here is not working. I want to make it work. I want to be useful for something, but I need to figure out, and that's a separate project, separate video. I want to make this CD-ROM drive work. It's a nice Pioneer SCSI drive. These are rare these days, but I need to find a caddy for it. I don't have that caddy now, and I need to configure it in the Amiga, but otherwise it's working. The TEEC drive here is not working, but I'm planning to replace it with Gotek anyway, and I need to do some kind of phase, maybe 3D print or something, because I don't like the gaps here. But the Chinon drive is working just fine. So if I try and read a floppy, we're gonna see that, yeah, it's reading something. So it's there, it's working perfectly. I cleaned it up as I showed in the video. So I think that's that. It's not a super powerful Amiga. 020 is nothing special, but as you see, it's just doing its job. It's reading the discs, it's letting me play with software, and most of all, it's letting me run IMP3, which I'm doing now, and that makes me happy. Thanks everyone for watching.